All right. I just want to take the time to thank you for taking the time out to be on the show and welcome.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Heidi. So introduce yourself to everybody. Let them know, who you are and where you're from, and just give us a little bit about your family.
All right, I would love to do that. Let me start by saying I am Heidi McGill, and I am an author. Just recently, I've only been an author for about a year. Before that, I was the founder and director of an English as a second language program, and absolutely loved doing that. Before that, I worked for the American Red Cross and enjoyed helping raise money for disasters all across the state of South Carolina, where I live, and then also through the country. Had some wonderful adventures. I am married 30 years to my husband, Bob, who is an avid scuba diver, extreme scuba diver. That is his sport of choice. And then he's also a pilot for fun. And in his off time, when he has to, he works in IT. I have two girls. My oldest, Jordan, lives just about 15 minutes away from me, and she has blessed me with, she and her husband, with two precious grandsons. Avery is 2.5, and Ashton is 3 months, and they are truly the joy of my life. I had no idea that how much more fun grandchildren could be than my own children. My second daughter lives in Kentucky, and she works for the company called Yum. She's having a great career, and excuse me, life is fun for her. So I don't get to see her as often. But one of the things that I do enjoy doing is writing, which is a challenge for me since I have retinitis pigmentosa, and it is something that I have to work hard at, not both because it's hard to write, but because visually it's a challenge for me.
Yes, yeah. I was saying you were mentioning the whole grandparent thing. I can imagine that is the thing, especially I know my mom loves being a grandmother. And I imagine that's because you get to give them back after.
Yeah, yeah, you
You
can
get
give
all
them
the
back.
fun, and then you get them all. Yeah, you get to do everything else with them and do all the fun things that you got to do before. But now you just go, all right, now we're now we're
Okay, you can
done.
take them back. I'm done. No, they're precious children.
No,
And
that's
I,
awesome.
I
It's
just
fun.
keep telling myself, boy, at 2.5, my girls were just so hard. And this child, boy, he is an absolute dream.
Oh
So it's
wow.
kind of fun. Yeah, it's a fun
Well,
stage.
plus kids nowadays are so smart. Like,
Oh, yeah.
my son is like, I mean, I'm thinking like, where was I at 9 years old? And like,
Oh,
he's just, I think, so just light years ahead of me. I think.
oh, yeah. We were playing in the mud, and these kids are, they're figuring out computers.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, he was operating a computer. I think at 3 years old or whatever.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
4 years old. It's like they're just like what? He used to use an iPad when he was using an iPad when he was two,
Oh,
and
yeah.
like they were
Two, he
just
knows how
like,
to swipe.
yeah. It's like I'm like I don't know if I would be doing this back when I was 2 or 3.
No.
Man, what? Now I know I cheated a little bit, and I read some of your. I know you have a book, and
Yes,
I had cheated, and I read the back and saw that you were diagnosed in 2001.
yes.
So,
So
so tell me how you
I
felt about
have,
that.
that's actually the best way to ask me that question. How did I feel about that? Because everybody has a story, and a lot of us have similar stories, but how I felt seemed a little bit different from others that I have heard. So
Okay.
I did not even know that anything was wrong. I had both of my girls, they were 1 and 3 years old. And I just kept thinking, what is going on? My girlfriends were noticing it. I was running into things. And one of my girlfriends said, Heidi, I'm just going to say it, but I really think you might need to go get checked for multiple sclerosis. You just keep falling and tripping. And so I did. And my doctor said, let's just get your vision tested. Man, you are healthy as a horse. So we did. And with my diagnosis, it was absolute devastation. Oh, Mike, I thought my life is over. And I kept having these questions come through my mind. How am I ever going to see my girls grow up and get married? And how am I going to help them learn how to cook? And I just had all of these questions that just put me in this spiral of, I would not say a deep depression, but enough that I struggled to function. And it was absolutely devastating. It was a poor me. One day, I was sitting at my desk and I was journaling and I was just writing down all my frustrations. And I was angry, was frustrated, and I just, without any pretense, I just felt that.
Oop, I lost you.
You do not need to see anything to know who your children marry.
Can you repeat that? Excuse me, I lost you for a little bit, so I don't know. I think they would have missed out on what you were just saying.
Of course. So I am a Christ follower, and so when I was sitting at my desk and journaling, I just felt God say to me, Heidi, this is crazy. Seriously, do you think you need your vision to see the most important things? The person that your child marries, who cares what they look like? It's their heart. That's what matters. And you'll figure out other ways to do things. This is not the end of the world. You still have value. You just need to figure out what that value is. And that was a changing point for me, Mike. Honestly, I did not understand. I thought that who I was and what I was capable of doing was based on my eyesight, or for other people, it might be how fast they can run or what they can do, or no, that is not what gives me value. The fact that I can still love on others and be a friend, those are things that are important. So to answer your question, devastation was how I feel now, but now every day I choose joy. I choose to see the positive, look for the opportunity, and find things where I am not sitting there and wallowing in self-pity. I am looking forward to what can I do to support and love on someone else.
Awesome. See, I don't think that's I mean, definitely something most people feel. I mean, I think those who are getting hit like a baseball bat to the face by this, and when they have no history, no nothing,
Right.
Some people are fortunate to have somebody, in the family, so they kind of you already know it's happening. And I think when you know it's happening, or it's gonna be, happening or possibility, you're good with it because you have resources and so. But I mean, I felt like one point the same way you felt at some point, when I was like, oh man, geez, like, do I want to have a kid now that I have this? Like, do I, if I, I don't know if I want to do that or not. And I went back and forth a long time, trying to debate whether or not I was going to want to pass this on. But then, yeah, I looked at it and go, you know what? My mom was awesome and still is awesome. And I'll just lead that same example to, whatever kid I have, if I, so that's what I do now. And that's what you're doing, you're just continue being awesome and doing what you want to do. And you set that example so that, if God forbid something, if that happens and, one of your kids gets it, they're going to have that same reaction. Like, oh, well, my mom's an author. My mom does this. My mom, all this cool stuff. She's always been happy. I'm not worried about it. And I think, yeah, you're right. That's the best way to look at it. Go, we could do a lot of things. Like, I mean, not having eyesight is I mean, yes, does it suck? Absolutely.
Yes.
I don't ever want to paint a picture of like I walk around going, man, I love going blind.
Yeah, like, this is great.
This is great, man. Thank you so much. I think we all could say that that's not the case, but I think it's a matter of just saying, you know what, this is happening, and this is what I'm gonna do. Exactly. And you just face those obstacles as they come to you. So no, that's a great way to just kind of treat it. But it's not wrong also to feel depressed or sad. I think my mom, I remember growing up, was always in she did those like groups and stuff. She'd go to therapy and stuff. Yeah, so I remember that growing up. So I'm sure my mom was dealing with things behind it. I'm sure she didn't show me. So
yeah.
But yeah, it's all part of that, as you say, or as I say, the whole title of the show, it's a journey. It's a living through RP. It's a it's we all have a different journey. It all starts somewhere else.
Right.
So now you're feeling joy. Now that's now we're you've gotten by your all those years of how you felt.
Right.
Where's your vision currently?
All right. So it's been 20 years, and when I was diagnosed, I was already at 20%, and so now I'm down to 5 degrees. And so it's very interesting how other people they don't understand that because I have some vision, how can I be considered blind? Until I trip over something. And then they are like, oh, dropping something on the floor. That's the funniest thing. So I have a sister who has severe neuropathy. And so we make a great team. She finds it on the floor and I pick it up for her. I mean, we rock it together.
That's it. Like, there you go. It's perfect.
But it actually is one of the reasons that I wrote this book is because I felt like when I explain what's going on with my eyes and how I adapt, people they don't understand. They struggle. I've used the example of stick 2 toilet paper tubes on your eyes like you're looking through binoculars, and can you see the person's neck when you're looking at their eyes? No, you cannot. Okay, that is what I see. And what ends up happening is, especially if I'm in an airport and people see a white cane, oh my goodness, they just completely spread the waters, they just disperse so that nobody runs into me, which is actually very courteous, and I do appreciate that. I do appreciate the extra attention I get from TSA, so I do not have to go through the cattle stalls to get where I need to go. They just let me right through. That's super helpful. But what I have noticed is that I'll say I have just enough vision to be dangerous because I just think, I just think I can do it, and then no, I fall downstairs.
Yeah.
But one of the reasons I wrote this book is because I really want people to see who I am without my cane. It does not matter. My vision is not what defines me. That is not who I am. Just like you, Mike, you've got this awesome personality. You are extremely upbeat. I listened to one of your podcasts and I understand that you love to run. You're a parent, you're a husband, you are so much more, so you happen to have RP. Okay. That's just part of life. Right. Everybody's got something, Mike. Oh my goodness. I've got kids. I have friends who have children that have disabilities. I'm sorry, I'll take my RP over what they have to deal with 24 hours a day. I cannot imagine the stress of the journey that they're going through. We all have something. And so learning to love who you are despite faults is a wonderful thing. And that was one of the things about Dialing for Endearment. So Everly, the main character, she is the one that is blind, and she is a radio talk show host. And she has learned to use specialized equipment so that she can run her show. Well, no one on the air listening in her radio family knows that she's blind. Because that's not who she is. Who she is on the air is a radio talk show host. And so, it just paints a picture of who she is outside of her white cane. And this is a romance story. And so the whole idea is that she wants someone to physically find her to be of value outside of that white cane, and that's what she's seeking. And the book is not just romance; it deals with a lot of hurts, and she has a very difficult relationship with her mom, and it's a wonderful journey that she has through making light of the fact that she has RP. The friend that she meets is he's just an awesome character. And I do have to interject right there that most of the events that happen in the story are my personal experience. Although I am not Everly the character, I did interject
who's Cameron Boyd then?
Cameron Boyd is the young man who just comes along.
Is he based on anybody?
He is not. He is not. And in fact, when the story started, I had her falling in love with someone else, and
Oh, wow.
camp just showed up. That was one of those. It's one of the beauties of being a pantser writer, meaning that I don't plan things out. I write by the seat of my pants, and so it's been a fun journey. I've enjoyed this story, and I do feel like it has a story to tell. And one of the things that I've done with this book is during the month of February, it releases on February 1st, and during the month of February, any purchase of this book, whether it be in paperback or eBack, 50% of those proceeds I am giving to my local Metrolina Association for the Blind. And that is the
Awesome.
service that provided services for me for white cane training, and has given me all my support as when I learned that I
Awesome.
had RP.
Is there anything you could now, being since you're a, an author, and maybe somebody else listening might want to consider trying to write their own book, is there any kind of tips or anything kind of knowledge you could share with the listeners?
Mike, I would love to do that, because let me tell you how I got started. I love to read. I am an avid reader. I do most of my reading now listening to audiobooks, but even growing up, I read every one of my children's summer reading books and anything that they had at school. I just always loved to read. And I never put my hand to writing, but I would read for other authors, and I would what was called a beta reader, and I would get the book early on at the stage of right before all of the last details had been put in, and I would help an author and say, you've got a plot hole here, or you used the wrong word choice here, or here I found a couple typos, that kind of thing. And I got this one book, and I was reading it and I went, oh, for pity's sakes, I could do better than this. I mean, this book was just so poorly written. And I thought, okay, girl, put your money where your mouth is. If you think that you can do better, do it. And so I started to write a book. And like most authors, we tend to write what we know. And what I knew was my story. And in my story, I have Rachel, the main character, who represents who I am. She goes through a very deep loss and a great depression. And that is very symbolic of the loss of my eyesight and the following depression that I went through afterwards. And how she comes out on the other side just gloriously renewed. She is a different person. She has chosen to make her life what it is going to be. And so that book itself is very important. So for individuals who are wanting to write, I have no background in writing. You've heard what my positions were. My college education is in human resources. I do believe I nearly flunked high school English. I would have to go back and look at my transcript, but I'm pretty sure I got close. So it is not that you have to have some skill or talent. You have to have a desire. And if you want to tell a story, if you have something inside of you that you want to tell, just put it on paper. The beauty of the way the world runs these days, with Amazon especially, is you can be an independently published author very easily. You put your book together, you get some group of people to help you make sure that your typos are not there, that your book is very clean, that you don't have formatting errors. You upload it yourself using a free tool that Kindle provides for you, Amazon provides for you. There are other programs you can purchase, but I just use the free one. You get it uploaded, you put it on there, you set a price, and then the only effort that you really, really struggle with is the promotion. But if your goal is to say, I am a published author, whether anybody else reads this book or not, I've accomplished a goal I set out to accomplish, then you've just done that. If you want to make money, then it takes a little effort, but it's worth it in the end. So, Mike, if you want to write a book, just start writing.
I'm going to write a book. It's going to be one page.
There you go. Short story.
Just to be like, short story. Yeah, there you go. Boom. Like, this is my style. This is what and I'm going to title it Short Read.
There you go.
I'm going to call it This is a Short Read. That's the title of the book.
That sounds great. I have like a feeling you might have a market.
There you go. I like that idea of, like you said, some people might be like, whoa, geez, I got to do this the right way. I got to go get a, publisher or do all those things. I never thought that you could just, take it upon yourself and do that, and that stuff exists, and just to say, hey, like you said, just for that accomplishment. And sometimes that accomplishment means everything to people, if
That
that's
is
what,
exactly
that gives you a
right.
nice little boost, and
That's
so,
exactly right.
and maybe it leads to more. Maybe that, maybe maybe you do realize you want to keep writing, and maybe you want to get, make some money, and then there you go. You can't make
Yes,
it.
and
You
when you
can't.
do want to make money, then there are some things that you have to do. You do
Right.
need to
No, at
make
that
sure
point.
you are.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
At that point, now you got to start, starting doing things, and putting the work in, and differently. But that's part of the process. It's like, I'm always a big believer in, if you want to do something like, say, a race, like for me, it's like, a race or something like that.
Sure.
Like, you just sign up. You don't go,
Right.
I'll sign up for a 5K when I'm ready, or a 10. Like, people
Right.
just always say, oh,
Just
hey, I just
do
like,
it.
just do it. Just sign up.
That's right.
Because now once you sign up, it's real.
Mm-hmm.
And now, and maybe it doesn't go so well. Maybe the race doesn't go so well. But then afterwards, now you accomplish it. It gives you a little bit of you know, a boost, and now you go on and you go, I'm going to do better next time. So
Yeah.
now you're running more. Now you don't, whatever. So it's like, yeah, and everything in life, I think you should just do it. Just
That's
don't even.
exactly right. I'm with you.
Yeah. So I think it's a great thing to live by. So we've covered that you're an author, but is there more things that you like to do? Like, is there other interests, hobbies? Like, is
Oh,
there
yes.
what's
I do have some things. First of all, I love to play with my grandsons. Outdoors is my favorite place to be with those boys. That 2.5-year-old, it is quite challenging since he does not kick straight for me to return a kick or catch a ball, but we have a blast.
okay?
And
There you go. Hey,
yes,
it's a great
it's
age. That's a
pretty
great
challenging.
age.
It is.
That's my son. That's
We'll
my
see when
son's
he gets.
favorite age. So.
Oh yeah, yeah. As soon as he gets older, he's going to be running circles around me, and I won't even know where he is. Um, when I first learned that I had RP, I decided it was important for me. I'm actually a visual learner. And so I wanted to put as many memories in my brain as I could. And so I
Mhm.
started scrapbooking. And I started with my wedding, which was in 1991. Well, it actually started with my engagement, and I've gone all the way through all of those years. And I have a scrapbook, and I'm now on 2019. I have
Wow.
usually I have one scrapbook per year. I'm just chronological. But what that has done for me is, even if my children throw those things in the trash can, that's not why I did this. It's the same thing as writing. I did this for me.
Okay.
I wanted to cement those memories in my mind, and so I just love it. And so I do try to get away a couple times a year and get some scrapbooking done. I do love to cook. Mike, I cannot bake, or I cannot even make a box brownie. I do not know
Really?
what my issue. Oh my gosh, no.
Oh, I'm
I
a
am the worst
baker. I
baker. Oh
can't.
no,
I
no, no.
could. I
You
could
are
semi
you a
cook.
direction follower? You,
Once I tend to get a recipe, and then after I've kind of done it once, I kind of go off the cuff after that.
okay.
You
I
know.
can't measure for anything. I get too impatient. I just am like, throw it in my hand. That looks like a teaspoon. Well, that does not work for baking.
No, it doesn't.
I
No,
can
you're right.
cook. I can make nothing into something
That's
pretty easily
funny.
when it comes to cooking.
All
I've
right.
got quite a variety of things. And food. Oh, Mike, I love food. In fact, that was one of the best parts of being a part of the English as a Second Language program. Those ESL students loved to take me to authentic food. I have eaten some of the most unusual things you can imagine. I've had raw octopus,
Oh,
and
wow.
I've had chicken feet multiple times,
Oh, interesting.
stomach and tongue, and just I've had it all. Don't
Wow.
necessarily enjoy it all, but I will eat it.
Oh
There
yeah,
are
I'll try. Yeah,
very
try
few
everything
things I just
once.
won't eat. Oh yeah, yeah.
I try everything once. Yes. Oh
I
my
also
god.
love to. What's that?
I was just saying. Oh my god. Like it's crazy. All that the tongue and all
Oh,
that.
yeah. And sometimes it's a little spicier than I care for. I can handle pretty hot, but when it starts to make your eyes run, that's a little much
Oh,
for me.
okay. All right. All
Yeah.
right.
I also love to travel.
Well, okay.
I've been to China twice
Oh
by
man.
myself. Took me and
Wow.
my cane.
That's
Um,
all. That's impressive.
yeah, that was a of fun. And in the Shanghai airport, it's pretty interesting when no one speaks English and you're about to miss your
And
flight. So, yeah.
uh,
I do not have a seeing eye dog. I have chosen not to, although I love an animal. I live in a part of South Carolina where there is no public transportation. In fact, we don't even
oh
have
wow.
a taxi service here. So I would have to call Charlotte, North Carolina to be able to get
Oh
a taxi.
geez.
Of course, there's Ubers. Um, but not every Uber driver would appreciate having a dog in their car. So I have chosen not to do that. And so when I do get out and go, I mostly just either go with my husband or I have this amazing group of friends who have just surrounded me. In fact, one of my girlfriends called me last night and she said, make your grocery list. I'm heading to the grocery store tomorrow night if you want to go. That courtesy is just
That's
beyond
awesome.
thoughtful. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. That's good. I always say it's important to have like a very strong like group of core friends
Oh,
to
yeah.
support you as you go through this, because those are the people that you're going to rely on. And
Right.
and I think you definitely find out also who your friends and who are not your friends as you
Yes.
also kind of go through this, so
Mike,
because
it's even beyond that. It's learning personalities. I have about 3 women who I can call at any point in time and say, I have got this appointment all the way up in Charlotte at Uptown. Can you take me? And they are yes. And I've got another group of girls. They're happy to take me anywhere. They will not drive in Charlotte. So, you kind of got to know your audience a little bit too and
yeah,
be
right.
thoughtful of what people are, some people it's not comfortable for them. It's just out of their comfort zone. So it's not
Oh
that they
right,
don't
yeah,
like you.
right.
It's just that,
They don't
it's
want to
not their
drive
thing.
in that
That's
area,
right.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally understand that. No, you're right though. I can relate to that. There are definitely a couple of friends of mine where like, yeah, I could call them and be like, dude, I
Yeah.
gotta get here, or I need to do this. Are
Yes.
you available? And they're like, well, let me check, but I should be able to do it, or like, yeah.
Right.
But then there's some people there. It's like you got to give them more time. You gotta, yeah, you gotta. If depending on that kind of person, they're not like an on the fly type of person.
Right. Right. And sometimes it's a good trade-off. So um, I have these 3 ladies who are willing to take me just about anywhere. All 3 of them are retired, home by themselves. Their family lives far away, and really sometimes why they enjoy taking me is just to be able to spend time with another human being. And I'm not the only one that's lonely, and so sometimes choosing those people, um, it's my dad used to always say, I'd say, no, I don't want to ask them to do such and such for me. And he'd say, his answer was always, you're robbing them of the blessing of helping you, right? And I was thinking it from
Yeah,
my perspective, where my
perspective, like
dad was
everybody.
thinking
Yeah,
it from the other. People want to help other people, they just don't know how. Somebody gets cancer, what
right.
can you do? Well, you can provide a meal. That is something you can do. The summer, you can mow their yard. There are things that you can do for other people. And sometimes others love to be able to say, yes, I would be happy to take you for a ride to
Or they want
wherever
to
you
hang
need
out
to
with
go.
you. They
Yeah.
might want to just take that time just to spend. They might want that just because they're just taking that time to hang out. Like, hey, yeah, I'll
You
drive you
are
up
exactly
there.
right. Mm-hmm.
It's
It's a
like,
long ride. I've got you at captive audience for 45 minutes.
yeah, hey, we'll do this. We'll stop over here and do this too if you don't
Yep.
want. Yeah.
Yep.
It could become a whole thing.
Yep.
So through
Exactly.
your journey, have you experienced any ridiculous questions from people, like strangers, and they how can you see this? How about this? And
Oh, yes.
I,
So I was at a wedding, and it was quite elegant, and I just had my hands in my lap because this was early on. I knocked my drink over. This, no joke, Mike. 80% of the meals, I knock my drink. I'm right-handed, so at my table, I put my cup to the far left-hand side
oh, okay, yep.
because I'm forever knocking my drink over. In fact, most meals I choose not to drink just because. In fact, I just did it the other day. I was out to dinner with a bunch of girlfriends and knocked my drink over. Um,
Hmm.
and so I was at this really nice wedding, and sitting next to me, my girlfriend, she said, all right. And she's military, and she started to explain, your drink is at 1:00. And she's going around my plate of telling me everything. And I'm thinking, first of all, you think I have a better memory than I have.
Yeah, your drink
There's
is
no way
at
I'm going to
one
remember all that.
o'clock.
Yeah. But second of all, I can see that. And, that, and probably the other most embarrassing thing is go to drink out of a straw, goes up your nose rather than in your mouth. Just totally miss that. But I think seeing people also have that option. But no, what about you? Have you had any?
I launch drinks. I do that a lot, but I was gonna say that no, I'm just think, what someone did. People notice when I don't have my cane on me. Like I've gone to a store, like a package store, and some guy actually asked me, he's like, hey, I've seen you in here before and you've had a cane and now you're not using a cane. He's like, like I thought, what's going on? Yeah. So I explained to him, I'm like, yeah, well, if I go down here by myself, I walk from my house, I use a cane. I go, but if my wife or somebody brings me here, I know your store well enough. I don't need a cane. So he's like, oh, okay. He's like, I just kind of thought canes were for people who were blind. I'm like, no, actually, I explained to him about being visually impaired and, and having tunnel vision and things. It's not, it's just not, one or the other. People have, degrees of different stuff. I've been, of course you get somebody who's always like, hey, I waved at you and you didn't wave back at me.
Oh, I know.
It's like, was I looking at you? Well, no. Yeah. But I was in your field. I clearly did not see you. Missing handshakes. We all done that,
the handshake. That's so.
Hey man, you're gonna leave me hanging. Oh yeah, you're gonna leave me. Hey man, like a fist bump. You're gonna leave me hanging. Like I'm not trying to be a jerk, but most people who know me, it's good. Like the people I'm around, actually, most people know that. Like so, if they go for that, and they'll be like, hey Mike, trying to give you a fist bump. Like, oh okay, gotcha. Like I'm not a jerk. I'm not a jerk.
That's right. No, my favorite is where you're in a room and you're talking to somebody and you can tell that they're to your left, but you're paying attention to the person in front of you. Right. And then you go to speak to that person and they're not there. And you just carry on a conversation. You're like, I didn't even know they left.
I didn't know they left. Yeah. I think I saw that somewhere. That happened to somebody on the Facebook group. They were saying that, yeah. So yeah, you're having a whole conversation with nobody.
Nobody. Yeah, it happens quite frequently. Or one girlfriend bent down to do her shoe, and I'm like, where are you? Where did you go? Like, I'm down here.
I run a YouTube channel also on and it's called the RP Show, and actually a good trick that my co-host explained for avoiding the whole knocking your drink over is when you put your drink down, you put your elbow at the edge of the table. So now your drink is the same distance from the elbow to the, to the edge of the table. So you always know when you put it down, your elbow down first, and then you put your hand down so that
Okay, I got to tell you, I just did that as you were telling me, and that's exactly where my drink was. See? I wonder if I do that subconsciously.
That's perfect. I started doing that more now that he told me about that. I was like, oh yeah, because
man, I hate spilling a drink.
Although usually I'm a little more skilled, and I was being a little more relaxed on my birthday, and I launched a beer off my table. The girl brought one over, and I had not realized that she brought me another beer, and I didn't realize she came over and did that. She didn't say here you go or anything. It was like she literally just dropped it off, and I didn't even know, and I was just like, wow. And I told her, I go, sorry, I'm visually impaired, she was just happy she didn't get any on herself. So
my sisters, when I'm with them, they always say, nobody wants to get wet. Would you please put hers in a kid's cup?
Right?
That's fine with me.
A sippy cup for my beer, please.
Yeah.
At least there's no straw there. I don't have to worry about that. Right. No, that's. I think you have to laugh at all those moments. I always say that on the podcast. So you have to laugh, because if you don't, just could be so miserable.
Absolutely.
All right, I tell my friends to stop taking my job. Like if they do something, like if they trip on something, I used to yell at them growing up. Like, hey, it's my job. Knock it off. You got your own thing. My job is trip.
Yeah, that's right. Mine is running into walls. I'll say, seriously, that wall moved for you? I thought it only did that for me.
Well, see, the best way to describe RP, I should say, is sometimes it's like we could see an earring on a floor
Yes.
100 feet away, but go walk into a door going to go pick it up.
Yes. Yes. You are
Like
so
I've done.
right.
I remember one night it was like I was at a bar. It was like super dark out in the bar, and I remember somebody lost their, I think my wife or somebody lost something, and everyone's looking for it. Everyone's looking for
Yep.
it, and I'm just happening to look. I'm just looking around, and I look down, and it's a good like 20 feet or so away, and I go, "Oh, is it right there, like underneath the seat right there?" And she goes, "How is it the blind guys
I know.
and that found
I
it?"
know.
I'm like, "I don't know.
I
Every
know.
once in a while, you get good."
Yeah, no, I was out walking with my girlfriend, and it had just started at the beginning of spring. And I said, "Oh my gosh, look at that little tiny blue flower." She's looking
Yeah.
everywhere. It was like the only flower on the entire green field, and I found it. She couldn't find it. It was awesome.
I mean, I get excited just when I read labels on packages and I can still read that tiny, tiny, tiny font. And I'm like,
Oh
man, I
yeah.
am shocked I'm even reading this. I'm like, those
Until
are like
you
the
figure out what's
small
actually in it.
Oh no, yeah, I don't want to read what's in it, but yeah, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
was it? But still, I'm always just like those. It's funny, like nobody else would probably even care about that moment, but the people like us were just like, those are like, yeah, I can still read tiny, tiny font. That's right. Look at me.
Oh my
So
gosh.
the next question is the dreaded question:
Oh
Who
dear.
who wins in a fight? The wet floor sign or you?
Oh, the wet floor sign. Oh my goodness. My I think it's like they are magnetic. I find every single one. How
uh,
is that?
they jump out in front, like they jump out in front of you.
Yes.
I find I work. I said the YMCA. I work that's where I teach spin class at my local YMCA. And
Yes.
yeah, I mean, I'm very aware when they put wet floor signs out, and usually I'm a little more vigilant. But sometimes, since I've been at the YMCA so long now, I get more like I don't bring my cane all the time. Like I bring it, but I
Right.
don't use it. So like if I need to leave the classroom to go to the bathroom, I just gonna go. Oh yeah,
Right.
I kicked one. I was like, oh, found it.
Oh my word. Well, I've got a good one for the YMCA. My husband was he swims to practice for scuba diving, and so I had taken my grandson to the baby pool,
Okay.
and Bob had him in the large pool and was just kind of playing with him for a little while I was getting all the toys picked up. And Bob said, "Here, come and get him." And I just walked forward and forgot the baby pool was in front of me.
Wait a
Oh
minute, you were
my
in the baby
goodness.
pool?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. All the way. Yeah. Totally forgot. I think that the lifeguard was so shocked. I'm like, yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Just a little
this is my
wet. No big
life.
deal.
Wow. I've always wondered about that. And I've never heard of anybody doing it. I was like, at some point, someone's had to fall in the water. Yeah.
Oh,
Somebody with RPS at some point going
yes.
inside a pool, without meaning to go inside of a pool.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at least like, nothing like that. Like I said, nothing bad happened. And it was like,
Oh, right. Right.
you're just like, yeah, I'm wet.
I've been pretty fortunate so far. I've only had a couple times I've had stitches.
I'm more worried about how other people, like someone else, like if everyone knows that I'm visually impaired in that area,
Yeah.
I don't get embarrassed because I'm like,
Yes.
they know, like, oh, Mike just kicked that wet floor sign.
Right.
Oh, well, I get more
No.
concerned about who's seeing me going, what the hell did that guy do? Like, why did that guy just knock that sign over?
Well, I always feel really bad when the error happens because of someone who's helping me. So
oh
when
God,
I'm
like it's
with a group, I use a seeing eye friend, forget the dog.
yes,
and I have to run into poles and
that's a bad
into,
seeing eye friend.
Oh man,
that's not good. You gotta
that's
get new
another
ones.
one. You got to choose your friends correctly on that
oh
one.
yeah, like
not everybody has that gift.
Well, the other problem is sometimes, I don't know if you experience this, is that I think we rock the whole going blind so well that sometimes our friends are like, oh yeah, you need help. Like my friends will go right into the bar and they'll just keep walking, and I'll have a moment of like,
You're at the
don't
door
know where you
like,
are.
Hello.
Oh yeah. Because I'm sure you'll stop just like I do. I just
Oh yeah.
Once I'm uncomfortable, like,
oh yeah,
I'm
you
stopping.
walk in the door and it's like, stop right there.
Nope, right there. I lost you. Like I told my friends, I'm gonna get them a vest, a bright green, like vest that they put on, so that I can see them when they go into bars.
Yeah.
And things like that.
You know, at Target, how they have those big round balls outside of Target.
Oh, I always have to avoid. I'm aware
Yeah.
of them, but yes, I know you're talking
Okay.
about
You
them.
remember when
Yes.
those plank things were really popular, and you'd see the videos of everybody, and they were doing little straight things and doing
Oh yeah,
planks.
yeah, yeah.
What were those?
Right.
They
Yep.
were they called planks? Is that what those
Yeah,
things were
planking.
called?
It's called planking.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
with my daughter, ran me directly into there, and I just have my arms out, looking like I'm flying, and I just yelled out, "Plank!" And I'm sure everybody thought, it
You
hurt,
just
but I'm
you
telling
just
you, we laughed our sides off.
you went on the fly. You're just like, oh yeah, I meant to do this.
Yeah,
This
that
is
too.
totally good. Oh no, I'll stare. I will make sure I stare at those things as I go into the Target because I'm like, I am not walking into these.
Oh, they
Like,
are the worst height.
like who invented this thing?
I know.
This is wrong. And put like make them like something else. I don't know. Make them brighter
Yeah.
too. Like red's
I
not the
want to
prettiest
know
color.
who invented the bar between two doors.
The bar
Rather than
between
having
two
the
doors.
door shut so that the doors connect, there's actually a
Okay.
physical bar that's between them, so each of the doors connect with the bar.
Oh,
Yeah.
like click in place. Like yeah, right. Yeah, right. Yeah. I think
Yeah.
you know what you're
Like
talking about.
schools. Yeah. That.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yep. No.
Not good.
Or we always say me and my friend we hate like windows, like or the glass doors and stuff like that. Like
Right.
because you can't see where
And
the
who
handle for the
made,
door is.
oh, yeah, who made the Home Depots and the Lowe's that have the pilings that go straight up into the ceiling? Why are
Oh
those
yeah.
not laid out correctly so that they are in the center of the rest of the aisle? I mean, why are they in the center of the aisle?
Yeah. I
Even
know.
people who are
Nope.
not visually impaired run into those things all
Well,
the
that's
time.
like the poles at Target, the white
Oh,
poles, like
yeah.
in
Yeah.
the middle. Yeah, it's like
Who
what is
sees those?
going
You're
on?
looking at
Yeah.
the shelves.
Yep. Nope. And it's white. It's always got to be some color that blends right into the rest of the whole
Right.
area. And you're like,
Right.
okay, this is stupid. Make it black or something. At least make it so it pops. Again, give me
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
contrast
Give me
here.
some contrast. Exactly.
Oh yeah. I'm telling you, if I ever opened up a restaurant or store, it would be like the most. It would be like super contrasted place.
Yes.
So,
Well, now that's a good question for you, Mike. How is your color? Now I'm losing mine. What about you?
I'm rough on if I'm doing socks and stuff like that, like
Mm-hmm.
laundry and stuff. I find I struggle with like sometimes blues and
Mm-hmm.
greens and blues and
Okay.
blacks. Like if it's dark, like a dark green and like a dark blue,
Yes.
like sometimes I have to kind of I don't know if I shake my eyes like a magic 8 ball or do whatever. So I kind of give myself a reset and go, oh, okay. And, or, or I
Yeah.
know my son has these pants and I was looking, I'm staring at them and I'm like, are these freaking gray or are they
Yeah.
green? Because they were
Yeah.
like this olive
Yeah.
green. And I'm looking at them, keep looking at them, I'm like, they look green, but
Yeah.
I think they're green, but they look kind of grayish. I'm like looking, I'm holding the
Yeah.
light and stuff. Yeah, a little bit like that. But for the most part, yes, I am fortunate because I still use my computer and I noticed that, because I can remember, like you said about remembering things.
Mm-hmm.
I work with the Pantone chart and all that stuff in Illustrator, and I could look and be like, I know the colors I'm seeing, I'm still seeing them, like
Right.
as the colors they are. I just find with clothing, it's tough. Like, yeah,
Oh,
dark blues and
absolutely.
blacks and that's where I'm
Yeah.
like, is this a blue? If I'm looking at something and I'm like, I don't know if it's 100% black, I'm pretty sure it's probably dark blue. So what I'll
Yeah.
do is I'll read the label because
Oh,
sometimes the
yeah. I can't.
label will actually tell you like the color of the actual fabric. So I'll be like, oh, okay, it's blue.
Oh,
And I don't do that
I'm
because
gonna
I
have
want
to
to
check that.
match. I don't want to give my son mismatched clothes. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to be like, oh, okay, this would go with this. But yeah, if I had my way, we just have like gray and black. This way, everything matches.
Yeah. Pinks, oranges, and reds and purples. Those
Yeah, there you
are
go. Those are
my,
good guys.
gosh, I have a struggle with those.
Yeah.
My
Okay.
daughter, my
Wow.
daughter went to Clemson University, and so
Oh yeah,
I'm
orange.
scrapbooking
Right.
a picture of her, and I used pink paper. So my girlfriend said,
Oh,
Heidi,
you know what?
you've
I
got to
take it
redo
back.
that page.
I take it back. I had a moment like that where I had seen, yeah, where it was. I don't know if it was orange and I thought it was pink, or if it was pink and I thought it was orange.
Yeah.
I have had once in a while. I don't know what it was. It might just be like what it was printed on or
Yes.
what. But no, yeah, I'm with you. I do
Yeah.
take that back. I have had moments. But
Yeah.
for the most part, I feel fortunate because I always talk. It's the one thing I love about this podcast is it's opened my eyes up to even myself,
Yes.
to, like, hey, wow, like things really aren't as bad as I thought they were, like
Mm-hmm.
compared to this person's journey and this person's and what this person's experiencing. So that's, I think it's one of those things we always have to, like, think about. And that's why I like having people on here and doing this stuff. Cause when you put a voice to to the journey versus seeing a post on Facebook, it's like, it's much different.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of us
Yeah.
just scroll, we just scroll past that stuff half the time because you're like, okay, I can only read this so much, like, because sometimes it's depressing, some stuff. And I'm like, if I don't have anything I can really give to them, like, it's just like,
Yeah.
I don't know how to react to it,
Right. Right.
Yeah. So here's a good one.
Okay.
I like this one too because it's always, everyone's answers are always varying. But if you could get your vision back, what's like the first thing you're doing?
Oh, wow. I have absolutely never considered that.
The first thing, like, you just got it back.
Driving.
Boom.
Driving.
When's the last time you
I
drove? I didn't even ask you.
2001.
Okay. Oh, so you
Yeah.
stopped. You stopped when you got diagnosed.
Oh, no. Let me rephrase that. 2001, I stopped driving at night because that
Oh,
was
okay.
very
Yeah.
clear to me. But I had already renewed my license before I had been diagnosed, and so I had
Right.
10 years where I could go before I had to renew it
Yeah.
again.
Right.
And both of my girls were getting ready to start driving. My oldest was already doing whatever that's called, the driver's training.
Driver's ed.
And,
driver's ed.
yeah, driver's ed thing. And
Okay.
so when I went to renew, I just knew that I couldn't, ethically, I just could not. But then what happened, where I live, they're used to, I would always take back roads. I never got on the highway because I can't merge.
Okay.
And so I always took these back roads. We live in a little town, so that's very easy to do. And there was this U.S. Food Service had this back road where their trucks would come out, and that was the direction we would go. And 2 different times, I completely missed seeing a truck, and we almost were hit. If you can't see a semi, you probably shouldn't be driving. So
that's a pretty. Yeah,
yeah. So I turned my
pretty
license in 2011. Haven't driven since then. But a cool thing that happened is South Carolina allowed my girls. We petitioned to the state, and my girls were allowed to have no restrictions on their license. The day that they got their license, they were permitted to drive at any time of day, after dark.
Oh, okay. Because of your situation?
And yes, because of my situation. And I have to say,
okay.
my girls are excellent drivers. By the time they were out of high school, they had thousands of hours under their belt compared to the average student.
Nice.
Yeah, because they took me everywhere, which helped my husband because at
Oh,
the time
yeah,
he was working way uptown Charlotte, and he couldn't come home for an hour and 15 drive, an hour and 15 minutes home to
no,
get me
that's
to
just
take
too
me
much.
somewhere.
Right. No, right.
So the timing of that was really good.
Well, that's why people like people always find it interesting. They go, "Oh man, why don't you just use public transportation?" No, but people don't realize sometimes are like how much time even that takes. It's not that easy, to just go take a bus. Like I think I use the analogy that, like, it takes, my mom is 15 minutes from me. If I were to drive a car, she's 15 minutes away. If I wanted to see my mom and I want to take a bus, I have to take 2 buses.
Mm-hmm.
I think I take 1 bus, and then I think it drops me off somewhere. And then at that stop, I have to wait 45 minutes for the next bus. And I take that bus, and it takes me. So I think it's like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So that's 3 hours. Yeah. It's just to go see my mom. It would be a 3 hour, of just that for something that could take me 30 minutes there and back. It's
right. And I just don't even have that option. I mean,
so it's
there's nothing here. So there is a service here that can come and get me. But because my husband works, and this is an interesting one. I stopped working when my girls were born. And so when I was diagnosed in 2001, I had not worked for 10 years.
Wow.
And so I did not qualify for any type of disability because
you had not
worked. Factors.
Oh,
That's right. God. I hadn't put into the system, therefore I didn't get anything out. And
Wow.
so I
Okay.
can't take advantage. And my age, diagnosed at, I forget how old I was, but I'm 55 now, but I don't qualify for the senior citizen services, which means
Wow.
I can't even get rides that way. So I am in a tough spot.
That
And
is
that is
tough.
why
Yeah.
I'm super thankful for great neighbors and some excellent friends that just support me, because I'm
That's
one of
great.
those that has fallen through the cracks.
Yeah. So people don't realize it's not that easy sometimes. Of, oh,
Mm-hmm.
if you talk to somebody who's not, when you talk to somebody who's not visually impaired or not in that situation, it's always interesting for them to be like, oh, you could just take the bus or you could take it's
Right,
not that easy. Or,
right,
you can get there.
right.
Like, no.
Well,
You make
and
it
life,
sound really easy.
yeah, life is easier for like grocery shopping. I do use an online service, and that does help me. But there are times it has nothing to do with the fact that I need groceries. I need out of my house, Mike.
Oh,
Oh my
right.
goodness,
Yeah.
please. These
Yeah.
four
Cabin
walls are
fever.
closing in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Some of these people that went through the 2020 COVID shutdown, of where they started working from home, when they went through
Yeah.
that, okay, that is my life every day, except that you
That's
could
what I
get
tell
out
them.
if you
I go,
needed
I'm a
to.
pro. I go, and one of
Yeah,
my friends, like my friend Vin came over one time during that, we're, of course, social distancing. And
yes,
he's like, we're sitting in my driveway just talking. And he's like, dude, you must be a pro at this. He's like, this is nothing. This is what you do. I'm like, yeah. I'm like,
yeah,
not being able to go anywhere. Like,
yeah.
yeah, I
I
got this is
thrived through.
nothing.
That's when I wrote my first book. COVID
Oh,
shut
okay, there you
my
go.
ESL program down, and I thought, okay, this is no more excuses right here. So I
And
wrote
what's
my
even
book.
better, we don't like handshakes and things because we can't find them. So now we
That's
don't have to touch
right.
people.
I
This is
hadn't
the
even
best.
thought about it.
This is like the best. Like COVID's been the best thing for visually impaired people, except minus the whole when they put the sticker things um in the stores to tell you where to stand.
Oh yeah, yeah. No,
Oh,
there's
and
no way I can see
we
those.
were left
No, my
we were left in the dark for that.
that's a great. And I actually spend a lot of time looking at people's mouths rather than their eyes, so I can make sure what I see.
Oh,
I don't have a hearing loss, but I'm like, wait a minute,
yeah,
these
right, yeah.
masks are killing me.
No, it's too funny. No, but at least like I look at it that way. I'm like, I don't. Oh, good. Now I don't have to touch anybody. I don't have to worry about missing a handshake, and I don't have to come near you. Like I could just avoid you. I don't want to be okay. It's like, oh, I get to
That's
stay home, and
right.
you're going to tell me I have to stay home and I have to pay you to pay. Oh, I already do this already.
I already do
Cool.
that.
Me and
Yeah,
my
in
family,
South
we just
Carolina,
stayed together. We loved it.
that's awesome. In South Carolina, we're big huggers. So
Oh
you
my
just have
god.
to look
Okay.
at everybody and go, air hug.
Oh
You can't
yeah.
even hug anybody.
I go for the martial arts thing. I go for the bow. I like, yeah, I can,
Oh, there you
let's bow
go.
to each
That's
other.
actually
Nice. Yeah. Nice to meet you. Yeah. There you go.
that's actually a really cute idea. I like that.
Yeah. There we go. But no, I mean, what I loved most, I think, was we never like ate dinner at the table. We didn't really, we kind of got out of that. And it was
Mm-hmm.
nice when COVID happened, it got us doing that again. Like we were eating dinners at the table every day. We were watching TV
Yeah.
together as a family. And,
Yeah.
and when things kind of, started not normal, but when things got a little bit better and my wife went back to work and things, we kept the eating, dinner at the
Yes.
table. We kept
Yeah.
certain things and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
that I loved it.
Yeah.
I was like, I
Yeah.
feel so like no anxiety. I felt great. Everyone else was like, oh, this is terrible. I can't get my hair cut. Well, you're that is really like that's your thing. Like that's
I
what's
know.
really got you like so angry because you can't go down to this place and get your hair cut. That's
I know.
what's
I embraced it, man. I'm like, hey, this is a perfect opportunity to go gray.
oh,
Skip
yeah.
this color
There you
and
go.
stuff. Be me. I am who
I
I
grew,
am.
yeah, I grew my hair out, man. That's what I did. And I worked out more. I was one of the ones that like it was other some people who gained weight during COVID, or you got the people that got more in shape. And that was me. I got more in shape, right? Because I was just like, all right, well, now I'm just gonna work out more.
Yeah, and I'm with you, Mike. I did the same thing. I spent more time out walking, and because I was responsible for my own meals and I wasn't going out, I am a follower. So if you say, let's go to this restaurant, I'm going to eat whatever restaurant food
There,
there is,
right.
and I'm
Gotcha.
not getting a salad, But if I'm at home, I'm fixing exactly what I want, and usually that is a salad. So I
There you
actually
go.
lost weight during COVID. It was awesome.
Yeah, perfect. See, you took the best. We made the best of it. That's good.
Exactly.
So now that we established that, I wanted to say it's awesome that you got another 10 years of driving now. So that's actually pretty cool.
Ah,
Especially now when you know when you look back, you could have stopped at 2001, but I think you would have
Yeah.
regretted it.
Yes.
And, you know,
That
so
it took 10 years to get my head straight.
to really, yeah,
Yeah.
be like, yeah. I think you have those. I tell people, I don't think anyone is allowed to look at someone and say, you can't drive. You should stop driving. I think it's something that you have to decide on your own.
Yeah.
I don't want a doctor saying to me, because even a doctor can look at charts and still not understand what we see,
Right. Right.
you know, and understand how we're able to do it. Like, you
Yeah.
know, and I think we're honestly better drivers, I think, actually, than a lot of the people on the road right now, because if you're aware of what you're going through and you know your
Yeah.
blind spots, like if you know what issues you have, I think
Yeah.
you can scan around it, you can work it, because you're more aware. You're going to be like, I'm not messing around. I'm not going to be texting when I'm driving or doing that stuff, because you know you have this condition and you know you got to be on your A game when you're driving.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I stopped driving. I stopped driving because it was stressful. I was like, this is supposed to be fun. This ain't fun anymore. It's too much work.
No, it's not fun. I could drive a golf cart if I was able to be on the street with no other cars parked on the street.
There you go.
But
that'd be fun.
You know, yeah.
So here's a really popular one too, because this is gonna blow your mind probably. In your dreams, are you blind or are you like fully sighted? Or like visually impaired? Do you actually, does any of that play out?
That's a really interesting question. I don't know that I have ever considered that, although I do know I almost always dream in very vivid color.
Okay.
But I can't answer that. I don't know.
Well, think about that though. Think about when you start having dreams, like think to yourself, because I've seen it. For me anyway, it plays out. I've said it. Like I'll be like doing something. I'll be like, oh, I can't do this. I'm visually impaired. Or I'll be driving and I'll know it just doesn't feel right. Like something, I shouldn't be doing this. This feels wrong. I don't think I've had one with a cane. No, I think I did. I think I had one dream where I had a cane. Yeah, I think I did.
My word.
So
I've never thought
it's slow. That. Yeah. And it's like, and then like, I think I had someone on my show. I remember they also were like, didn't think about it. And then they go, wait a minute, I haven't had a car in my dream since I stopped driving or something like that. And like, so I'm like, see, I go, it's all like, everything's to start playing out sooner or later. So, because I find dreams to be the escape. That usually, you dream, and it's like awesome because in your dream world, you're normal in your dream world. So, and then I after a while, I started seeing it, and I think anyway for me, and I've said this before, that I think it's because I spend a lot of time thinking about it. So my brain it plays out in my dreams. So I think about a lot about.
I'm gonna have to pay attention to that.
Yep. So if, like, for instance, if you're just throughout your day, you're not really thinking about your vision, I think it might not play out as much. But if you're someone that's very aware of your visual loss and you're having, when you have those moments where you knock something over and things like that, like you're always thinking of it. So I think subconsciously you're going to start, it'll play out in your dreams. So I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for someone to have a dog and their dreams. I've had people who had guide dogs, but they said they've never had a dream with their dog, which is weird because you think you would, you would have, a dream with your dog in it.
Who you are.
Yeah. It's just, but they're like, no, I haven't had one like where my dog's. I'm like, oh man, I'm waiting for that. So, because then obviously it'd be like, why is this dog in your dream? Like you would have to be like, hey, well, yeah, I'm visually impaired. Like, so it's gonna, it would just be interesting. Or would the dog just be a dog?
Right.
Yeah, just a regular dog. You'd be like, oh, well, yeah, I had my dog in my dream, but like he wasn't my guide dog. He was just a regular dog. Oh yeah, it's so crazy. Oh, but I want to thank you so much for being on. It was just like a lot of fun. You're definitely somebody like me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I like that. Thanks. No, this was super, super fun. And I just appreciate that you have a platform where you are giving opportunities for those that have retinitis pigmentosa to share their stories. And sometimes I do believe it is important to just be able to share your heart, Yeah,
that's what it's about, right? Hearing it, like you hear the emotion behind somebody. Like when you read somebody that posts something on Facebook, there's probably emotion behind it, but you don't get it through type. So
you are very, very right.
So hearing your voice and I don't know, it's just different. It puts that feeling behind it, like what someone's going through versus just someone typing it out what they're going through. Exactly. But it's awesome.
I really do appreciate your time. Thank you for doing this.
Oh, thank you for being on. Thank you for sharing your journey. And is there anything you want to add? When's your book coming out?
My book, Dial E for Endearment, which is a part of the You Are on the Air series, comes out on February the 1st. And
All right.
50% of the proceeds of either the ebook or the paperback that are purchased during the month of February, um, those proceeds will go to Metrolina Association for the Blind.
Awesome. So get that book, guys. If you're a book reader.
Yeah.
If not, try it. One day I'm gonna do it. I swear. I'm gonna, you know. Oh, right now I can hear my wife right now saying, "No,
Yeah, no, no.
no." Sure. Yeah, whatever. Too much. All right. Well, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and
Thank you.
hope it's fun. Or what's the weather like over there?
Oh, today it's actually gorgeous. I think it's about 50 degrees, so I'm getting a walk in today.
Oh, you enjoy that because I'm gonna freeze.
Yeah,
Over here
it's
on the
been
East Coast.
cold. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I,
Well,
I live in South Carolina for a reason.
oh, right. Well, enjoy your
Thanks,
walk.
Mike. Have a
You're
great day.
welcome. Have a great day.